Welcome back to part 2, things to know while buying your first instrument. Doing the editing and we do that song thing. Alright, now some of this might go without saying, but this has been something that we've run into in the many years we've been doing this.
We've seen it happen.
Number 1.
Transportation. How many times, when somebody has bought a giant 88-key keyboard, do they suddenly realize how small their car is?
Oh boy, real fast. Well, let's take it out of the box. Maybe it'll fit.
The box isn't much bigger.
Phrasing.
So, now, and this can be with a lot of things because I've had customers shopping from overseas, things like Europe. And then, of course, they want to buy here because they don't get taxed or it's just lower because of the exchange rate. There's a lot of reasons. But the point is they have to figure out how they're going to get it back once they've loaded up. They've got their cart, they got this, and they go, oh, yeah.
That's not going to fit in my suitcase.
Where am I going to put this? And then I've always imagined somebody, like, unbolting a fender and, like, shoving it in one of this little cart. But, or like we said, the old, the giant, rolling keyboard in the back of a Miata where it's hanging out. They have to run a red rope off the back of it just so they don't get pulled over on the way home.
And we're not just talking about that. We know impulse buys happen. You walk in going, hey, I'm just going to check out this shop. And then you're like, I have to have this drum set. And then you're like,
I drive a motorcycle.
Yeah. And that's okay. We're talking about people that knew they were coming to get something and just didn't even think that it...
So there's a little bit of planning, and while it seems pretty obvious, I guess it's not. So transportation is a thing, and we get it. We do understand you walk into a shop, you rode your bike, you're just riding around the neighborhood getting your exercise, you see something you can't live without. Thankfully, we do have layaway.
Oh, we do.
So don't feel bad to use that. We can always, put all your money down on it. It's sold. It's yours. It's in the back. But again, that brings up that same thing. When you come back to get it, make sure you have proper transportation. It helps.
We don't deliver.
We don't want to see you with a guitar over your shoulder and an amp in your hand, trying to steer your bike down Creighton Road.
Yeah, so
that's scary.
Like, Florida in the middle of summer, you're buying a drum kit, you have it all in the back of your truck, and it just pours at 1 o'clock in the morning. So bring a tarp. Those kind of things are the things you need to plan on.
So think about that.
2.
When you walk into a store and you're looking for your keyboard, you're looking for your drum set or your guitar, one of the big things I like to tell people, especially if they're not sure, I tell them to walk around and find one that just sticks out to them. One that they're like, I like the way that looks. A lot of times that's a guitar that they're going to want to go with. Of course, then we ask more questions and get them into, maybe an instrument that's similar but has more the pickups they need, or it's got the amount of toms they need, those kind of things. But still, finding a guitar that visually is what you're attracted to and think looks cool is really half the battle.
Yeah, if you are visibly attracted to something like that, you're probably going to be more interested in playing it. You're going to stick with it. You're going to be
showing it off.
You're going to be very proud of it, and you're going to practice, and that alone is going to make you a better musician all over.
Huge motivator for sure.
Absolutely. So while it's not the be all to end all, visual appeal makes a difference, especially if you plan on playing live, because not to say that it matters, because I would love to be that guy that goes up and shreds a death metal set on like an Epiphone hollow body.
Yeah, and I'm not just talking about maybe like flame tops or crazy paint jobs. I'm talking like maybe somebody that's looking for an acoustic but likes a beat up one that's got some personality on it.
Some rustic
or
ones.
A heavy relic, road worn Stratocaster or something like that.
Or an acrylic drum set versus like a maple or oak or something. Don't let that also, while it can be the benefit, don't let that also persuade you to not buy an instrument because you don't like the way it looks.
Right.
It might sound killer. It might play awesome. You never know. Yeah. And while it can inspire you, don't let that get you from buying something, because...
And I think with the visual style, I think we're kind of leaning more towards your first instrument.
Absolutely.
Because you're probably going into it not knowing, okay, I want this snare to sound like this. You might not be at that point where you're going, okay, the tone of this, beautiful guitar is just not what I'm looking for. You might not be there yet. So.
Yeah. We're talking about first instruments here. We're not talking about a guy who owns 30 guitars already. We're talking about your first instrument. Again, we want you to encourage you to keep playing.
Yeah.
And this is a big part of it. And the look, all of that can have a big bearing on that. So keep that in mind when buying.
Number 3.
Size. Oh, it matters.
It does. So not only size of the instrument, but even size of the person.
Oh, absolutely. Because I know if I had started playing guitar before the age of 14, I wouldn't even know how to do it.
You're a wee little
man. I'm still a wee little man. So it's amazing I can do what I can do.
We're using the Lord of the Rings approach.
I'm actually on a higher stool than Rick because of how tiny I am. So when it comes to size of the instrument, keyboards, drums, basses, guitars, there's different sizes. Ukuleles. Ukulele. I don't think we've talked about ukulele once yet. So let's go ahead and plug ukulele. Ukulele has a lot of different sizes and shapes. And we often get asked what's the right one. Of course, some of that is just people starting out.
Yep.
But if you're a small child, you don't need a baritone ukulele or a tenor. It's just going to be too much for you. So maybe a smaller one like a soprano. Or if, say, you're 6'5".
Yes.
And you have hands the size of my face.
Yes.
And you're trying to whittle down on a tiny little mandolin or a soprano ukulele. It's going to be a struggle for you, so that might not be the right instrument for you. So size does matter.
So, when you come in and you're trying to figure out which way to go, we're going to sit you down with a couple different models and sizes, whether it's keyboards, drums, ukuleles, guitars, and we can definitely help you find the one that might fit you perfectly.
Mm-hmm. For your needs, for your size, for your budget, and for your space.
Yeah.
All of these are factors.
Number 4.
Yes!
Yeah. Yeah.
Number of strings, keys, or shells. Yes! Pick.
Yeah.
Coffee, tea, or me. Yes! So,
number of strings, number of keys, number of shells.
Yes, and this is all a very personal thing that you need to decide with guitars. There's 6 strings, there's 7 strings, there's 8s, there's 9s, there's 10s, there's 12s. There's 18 strings. Thanks, Jared Dines. Yeah. Thanks, Ornsby.
Yeah.
Because now that exists. Thanks.
Yes.
You know how hard it is to get strings for one of those?
I got small hands. I'm not playing one of those.
I got an 18 string. What sets do you got?
I struggle on a 7 string. I struggle on a 6 string. What am I talking about?
So, when buying a bass, a guitar, a keyboard, a drum, the number of pieces can vary. So with drums, it's usually in shells and then cymbals. How many you need is dependent upon what you're going to be doing with it.
It starts with budget.
And budget is big thing.
A lot of times, yeah.
So assuming there's no budget, it's just, you can get, I've seen 7, 8, 9-piece shell packs for drums.
True.
Typical electric kit's going to have 5 pads for drums and then usually 3 or so for the cymbal parts. For guitar, we very regularly stock, of course, 6 string.
Yep.
12 string, but there's also 7 strings, 8 strings. We had our 9 string in here.
We did. And
which, if we can get that shot of that string flopping around
I'll put that in the video.
That was the thing.
That
happened.
Yeah.
And, by the way, we don't sell 9-string sets.
No. But we can order them.
We can get that for you.
Yeah.
But these are all things to consider when with the type of music you're going to do.
For sure.
Again, we don't want to pigeonhole people into saying you need to start on a 6.
No.
If they're watching, we had a family come in and that girl bought her first guitar. She bought a 7. I was like, yeah!
Again, it's
yes!
And that's us doing our job. That's us going, hey, who's your inspiration? Who's your artist that you want to sound like, that you're going for that you want to.
Well, funny enough, number 2, she bought it because of the way it looked. She liked the finish, and of course, me doing my job, I asked her, is this something you're comfortable with? She's already a piano player, so an extra few frets wasn't scaring her off. It's like, this is awesome.
It's
More
good.
people need to do that because there's seasoned veterans that don't pick up a 7 because it's, I wouldn't even know, it's 5 extra notes.
Yeah.
It's 5 notes.
Yep. Count
them. E flat, D, C sharp, C B. Speaking of surprises,
Number 5.
Yes.
Price. Don't get sticker shock because we're not here to force the most expensive thing on you. I am just as cheap as the next guy.
Yes.
I love used gear.
Yeah.
I love inexpensive Chinese-made guitars.
And we have some of those.
Because you can afford more of them.
Especially if quantity is your game.
I'm a quantity guy. Rick knows this.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't.
I like swimming in a sea of guitars.
Yes. Just know that when you walk into the store, you're going to see a tier of price. There's I think with the instruments, there's usually 3 tiers. You have your introductory, lower range price. You have your mid price and a high price. And depending on what your high price is
it can get up there.
Yeah.
There's guitars that go into the several triple-digit thousands.
Yep.
If is that a thing people say?
No, I don't.
Triple-digit thousands.
It's not even a real
Okay,
number.
we've just coined something. It's called triple-digit thousands.
That's how we do math here at Leitz.
It's like triple thousand. So
yes.
Don't and this door swings both ways in my opinion. For one, don't feel like you have to buy the most expensive guitar on the planet to sound good. It's not true. At the same time, don't feel like that if you buy the cheapest instrument you can find that it's automatically going to be terrible. It's not true either. Because
it's about the hands.
It can make a difference. And also, too, I've played plenty of great, inexpensive guitars that just were set up well. So, therefore, by default, they played better. I sounded better. Where you could play a more expensive instrument, if it's not set up, or the strings are old, or you just, the amp you played through wasn't suiting your style, or you just didn't dial it in right, where you think it's bad, and why is this $10,000?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's differences in prices, and don't think that inexpensive automatically means beginner. Don't think that expensive means automatically professional.
No.
If you go up on stage with your Squier Affinity Telecaster and kill it, nobody's going to care that you did it on a Squier Affinity Tele. Just the same way that nobody's going to applaud somebody that was an awful musician that spent a lot of money on their gear. The point is to enjoy the music, and at the end of the day, nobody knows the difference. It's just that nobody is going to judge you for not spending it, just like nobody is going to applaud you for spending more. It's a matter of just finding the right thing for you at the price you want.
And we talked on our previous video about knowing your budget. If you walk in, you let us know what the budget's going to be. We're going to give you a couple options in that budget. Mm-hmm. We're going to give you lower range, mid range, and high range. If you walk in our store and you don't tell us what your budget is, we're going to start probably at the top.
And work our way down.
It's gonna be a long day, and you'd be surprised. A lot of stuff. You'd be surprised. I mean, of course, it makes sense for us. Let's start at the top, figure out what the budget's going to be, and go from there. Sometimes you'll have people that are offended by that, but it's your fault because you didn't come in with the budget.
And I've never been offended that somebody assumed I had money.
Yeah. So, and it's not even that, because I don't feed my kids by the dollar amount of guitar that you buy or instrument you buy. We don't make commission here. We don't want you coming back yelling at us going, hey, I spent way too much money on this guitar.
We want you coming back saying how awesome
it is.
Thing you
Put some new
was.
strings on it. Let's go.
And again, for us, it's not about price. It's about getting you the right thing, and we can't get you the right thing by not showing it. So you're not going to know about the guitar we didn't show you.
Exactly.
Number 6.
New or used?
That's right.
What do you?
There's nothing wrong with both.
I buy.
There
both
really
all the
isn't.
time.
I
love used.
The used gear market in instruments is huge right now. I think it's even affecting new instrument sales because the used market is just so good.
Because bottom feeders like me get such good deals that we're not willing to pay more.
It's it's one thing. Musical instruments do not become obsolete when it comes to your instrument, like drums and or acoustic drums or electric guitars. They don't become obsolete. Now, of course, we have this digital age now where you have digital amplifiers and MIDI keyboards and electric drum kits. Those don't hold their value as much, but
that's a great thing for the consumer.
Because then you
guys, because now you get that thing that is totally out of style, but still awesome and sounds great. Works. So now it's $25 instead of $100.
Yeah,
you win twice.
So there's pluses and minuses to both. New gear is depending on what the instrument is can be a little bit more expensive than if you were to buy that same instrument used. Typically, a new piece of gear is going to come with a good warranty. Hopefully, it won't have scratches or dents, so you could put those on the instrument yourself.
Speaking of which, don't let that deter you from buying something either, because scratches and dents, guess what? They're going to happen anyway.
It's just
the moment you actually play your instrument, you're going to scuff it up. Don't let that make you fearful of playing it, because it's a tool.
It's not a collector's item.
It could be. we gotta watch how we
That's a
say
whole
that. But that's not your first. You don't buy a collector's item for your first instrument. And if you do, play it because you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, put some personality on that guitar.
But don't be put off by that, because oftentimes a used guitar, to me, I think of that kind of like a nice broken-in pair of jeans.
True,
they already feel comfortable. They're new, and plus, one advantage to buying a used instrument is it's already been beat up.
That's right. No fear there.
You're not gonna lose any money if you turn around and sell it later on. Think about maybe when you're buying a rig, you can piece it together, especially with things like stomp boxes. Used is awesome.
It's great.
Because if you're talking about a used Boss pedal or something, or a used Fender amp, chances are you could throw that thing out of the back of a moving vehicle.
It's
still going to work.
It's going to look a little
So it may not look great, but it'll still work. So don't let that deter you. And again, just like buying online, buy from a reputed when you're buying.
That's going to be sounded out.
When you're buying online, make sure it's from a reputable dealer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or come see us, because if we have, whether it's new or used, you have a return policy.
Right.
You have somebody that can show you that, the battery was dead. That's why it's not working.
Yeah.
So that's the way to do it, which is why you need to come see us.
Yep. So you just need to figure out if you want it new or you want it used. There's no wrong way to do it. There's definitely several pluses or minuses with both. And
besides, once you own it, it's already used.
Yeah, that's one thing again, that's a video for another day as well.
Number 7.
Accessorize.
I'm not wearing any rings or watches. I'm totally not accessorized right now.
No, they give me a rash anyway. So, a little personal in it.
Yes.
I turned green.
So let's say you pick out your first instrument and you're walking up, you're at the front counter, and then the person who's selling it to you says, well, you're also going to need, let's say you're buying a drum set. You're going to need this hardware to hold your cymbals. You're going to need some drumsticks to actually play the drums.
You're going to need a kick pedal.
You're going to need a kick pedal.
You plan on playing kick drum.
This is not us upselling. This is not us trying to add on to the sale. This is us selling you things that you're going to need to be able to play the instrument.
And a wise man once told me, it's not selling, it's getting you ready for the gig. Whatever your gig is, whether it's playing in your house, whether it's playing with friends, whether it's actually literally physically playing a gig. If you don't have a guitar cable for your electric guitar or your amp,
you'll be really quiet.
It's not Bluetooth. It ain't gonna work. So it's not wireless.
Yes.
So listen to advice when you have sales guys or whoever it is that is helping you buy this instrument. Reputable dealer.
Yes.
Things like headphones, you may need them.
Yeah.
Things like cases, stands, cleaners, power supplies. That's a big one, especially with pedals, people seem to sometimes be a little reluctant to get a power supply.
I know it
pedal.
seems, $20. You're buying a $100 pedal and
here's a $25 add-on for the power
and then
supply.
they go buy a $10 pack of batteries that are only 2, and
that'll last you a week.
So we
over
try to
time,
explain it the best we can, but I feel like there is this thing of if we say, hey, you need an instrument cable. No, I'm not buying that. I'm already buying the guitar. It's like, don't listen to what we're saying. Why you need this? We're definitely not just trying to fill up the bag with as much stuff as possible, because that's the last thing we want to do.
Or even if it's something that is not necessarily what you would say essential to the gear working. Sure. It's something that we know from experience that'll make your life better, like a string winder. I'm telling you,
yes.
When you go to change your strings, if you don't have a string winder, you will realize why we offered to sell you
start
that.
Looking like Popeye, just one wrist.
All right, now do that 7, 8, 9 more times on each string.
Yeah.
My experience from having so much gear over the years, the accessories oftentimes outlast the other stuff. I've blown through several keyboards, but you know what? I have the same two stands.
Bench. Yeah,
they're still around.
That's right.
And one of the biggest accessory items you can have is storage. So, just gonna set that right here. That's where I keep my guitar. It's never in danger of falling over.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah. So, again, back to, you've just spent all this money on your very nice instrument that you've saved up and mowed lawns, and you would hate to see it get knocked over and smashed, and there goes all your hard-earned work.
Mm-hmm.
So, store your instrument on a stand, in a case,
gig bag.
Anything is better than nothing. And
wall
again,
hanger.
A wall hanger. Oh wow! And those are great. So
yeah.
it keeps them at the ready. And I know if I didn't have my instruments on wall hangers and on stands, they were in the closet with all the other guitars in the cases, I would just go home and sit down and go to sleep. I would never play them because who wants to go through the effort of opening a few latches and taking something out of the case? But nonetheless, if you have a place to put it, like a stand, a wall hanger, these are things, because you don't want to lean your neck up against something and have it warp. It is Florida. That'll happen.
There's
real quick.
There's a couple other things. You might have a dog. You might have a cat. You might
You
have
might.
a kid.
You might. Who
You
has
might.
those? Nobody has any of those things.
So,
Never.
having something to keep your instrument safe. Also, with keyboards, I don't think a lot of people, and even amplifiers, dust is not your friend.
No,
so
dust covers.
You can get any kind of dust cover, any kind of amp cover, even using a blanket or something. And I know this isn't anything we sell here as far as blankets and sheets, but that will do the job. And
absolutely. And that $15 you spent for the cover on your keyboard is a lot less expensive than replacing it later when it's completely toast because dust, dirt, pet hair, whatever has gotten into it and ruined it.
Exactly.
So things to consider, and we'll leave that with you for now until
Part 3, the conclusion.
I'm Rick.
I'm Joe.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.